Daguerreo.
Who's asking?
I am.
Yeah? And who are you? I ain't Daguerreo, alright? You got the wrong guy.
I don't think so.
You know what I think?
I don't care.
I think you should die!
Always the same.
Hello and welcome to How to Be a Great GM presents the Training Grounds. My name is Guy and tonight we're going to be meeting a new GM and players as the GM takes us through another exciting adventure in the hopes of scoring well on the score sheet or improving an existing score. What am I talking about? Well, each of the GMs that are participating in Training Grounds have been given a predefined scenario that they will be required to run through the players tonight. The players are randomly drawn from those who volunteered to play in the game, as well as myself. And after 90 minutes of playing in the GM's world, the players and myself will get to score the GM based on certain criterion. The criterion I'm talking about is this. This is the scorecard that the GM will be aiming to try and hit the marks on. Now, bear in mind, the GM does not want to get the highest mark because that gives them no room for improvement or for betterment. This is not a competition about who is the best GM. This is a competition about oneself and improving on one's own abilities. Now, you can see we've got various categories there. We've got the rules. How are they applied? Are they applied correctly or at least appropriately? There's story categories. What's the tone or the pacing like? There are NPCs, critical elements of the game, of course. There's style, and then, of course, table management itself. So what will happen is each of the players and myself will give the GM a score out of 5, meaning that there will be a total of 25 points that they can score per item. And at the end of it, I will present the scorecard back to the GM and to you, the viewers, and take them through some of the salient points, areas that can be worked upon and improved upon for the following week. Of course, if this is the second week that they're participating, we will have that score sheet from last week. We will have a look at it and see where they should be aiming to improve. Now, at home, of course, you are watching this. You have that wonderful ability of not being completely ensconced within the game, not trying to play the game. So think kindly when you are judging these individuals and look at the scores and see how they would apply to yourself. At least that's part of the plan. But enough from me. Let's get on with the show and let's meet tonight's GM. Hello everybody and welcome to this evening's episode of Training Grounds. Good to see so many of you in chat going on. Some questions already. Riptide Shadow says, "Oi, what is this?" Well, this is where we get GMs to come in and to run a game for 90 minutes, no more, and sometimes less, but usually not less. And we then give them a score as to how we think they performed during the session. And then they come back again next week where they will try to improve that score based on feedback that they have gotten from the players. So that's the long and short of it. Now, tonight we have a new GM, and this GM has been going for quite some time, but normally in a different language, not in English. And the GM has given us some prep. Now, usually players get their characters a few moments before the game actually starts because, well, surprise, you don't know who you're playing until you get your character sheet. But this time around, we've all got secret backstories that the GM has prepared for us, as well as some house rules on how tonight's game will run. So I'm going to bring them in shortly, but before we do that, just a word about chatting. This is a let's learn from each other opportunity. So if there is something that the GM is doing and you disagree with them, or you agree with them, or any of the players for that matter, feel free to voice that opinion in the chat. However, the caveat is that if you say, "I think the GM is making a mistake here," you have to tell us what you would do differently and why. That will allow us all to learn from one another. So if you think the GM has missed an opportunity, or if you feel that one of the players is being too bombastic or too gregarious, or maybe has too much of a beard, or I'm not looking at any one particular player, I'll bring them in now and you'll see why. And a player has returned. I don't know why he's come back, but I'm happy he has. Nonetheless, let's get in the party and see what we are dealing with. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right, we have some, we have our new GM. GM, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much for organizing this event. I'm really excited to show my skill online and see and get feedback on what people think. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that feedback. And yeah, I want an honest opinion and see how I can improve. So thank you.
Lovely. Now, you've got some homebrew rules which you've kind of put together for tonight. Just a very brief overview. What are the players, what have you asked the players to do for this evening?
Okay, so one of the main things I'm going to try and streamline is combat. Obviously, we have 90 minutes, and I want to make this as quickly packed up as quickly as possible and cover a lot of ground. So I'm doing a group initiative. So highest score wins. As players, you can spend an inspiration point to give it +5. So up to you when you want to use it, when you get inspiration. You will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to decide on your action, and you will get a little note sounding like so that you are aware. Just bear with me. This is the end of your timer, so I only need your actions. Okay. You will also roll to hit and damage simultaneously. So if you will roll and you said I hit armor class 14 with 4 points of piercing damage. Obviously, I will let you know if that hits or not. I will also ask you to keep account of who or how much you're hitting a monster. So I'd ask you to keep the score on who and what, how much you've hit each monster, so I can concentrate on other things. Any questions so far?
I think that's clear from everyone shaking their heads. So there we go. We've got sound effects, we've got group initiatives, and well, it should be a lot of fun. So playing, let's start, where shall I start? Let's start, let's start with me. I should be playing Tajo the Cleric, and he will be his usual mystical wise self, who wanders around doing strange and wonderful things, and also complying with the piece of information that I was given by the GM, which I must say is particularly juicy. So yes, that's who I will be playing. Playing Ishka is a veteran D&D player. We were talking earlier. You've been playing D&D since you were how old, Alan?
16. So that's a few decades ago. Although there was a gap. But yes, started with the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
There we go. There we go. No stranger to the channel, having been on before. We have Tom. You are playing Bracklaw by request. You said you'd worked something out for Bracklaw.
Yes, we want to see what that is. Hopefully it's enjoyable.
Well, there we go. Absolutely. Hopefully it's enjoyable. And then joining us from the US, we have Trax playing Binson. Why did you want to play Binson, Trax?
Because the characters I normally play are, rogues and charismatic figures, so I figured he was a good fit.
There we go. There we go. And then rounding us out, we have Sasha.
Yes, I get to play Sasha and be a player character, and I am so excited to do that. I'm Brenda, originally from the UK. I live originally from the US. Living in the UK, that won't be the first mistake I make, guys.
There you go. Love it. All right, we have our players. We have our GM. We have our 5 seconds to decide what we're doing, so that should be a lot of fun, which means that all that remains is for me to say that I will give the GM a 10-minute warning when we get to the 10-minute remaining mark. Thereafter, we will vote on the GM based on how we think the GM did this evening, and that's when you get to ask questions. So if you have any questions about what the GM did or what the players did or anything relating to tonight's game, that's then when you can ask them. And please remember to put the word question in caps lock in front of your question so that I can see it. And so, without any more yammering from me, GM, your time starts now.
Okay. So, you are a band of merry adventurers led by Vincent Tooley. You kind of do your legalish jobs and are currently on the lookout to get some adventures under your belt. Well, that is why you left your past lives, was it not? You have heard the news. Malistrix is dead. The great red dragon lord has been slain by no other than His Royal Highness King Thane Draken II. Luckily, you aren't too far away from the occurrence, and you quickly seek to travel lightly to the ancient dwarven Thoradin Keep. Square is also known as Square Tower Keep. Now, return to its original owners. There must be, for sure, something to scavenge or find or take from such an event. For sure, experience in gold. As you close in to the keep, you see chariots laden with wooden chests, with heavily padlocked and heavily guarded, with long-bearded mountain dwarves in plate armor, with rune markings shimmering over their surface. A few coffins also seem to be burdening the already weighted down pulling mules. You find yourselves entering the keep with the sight of a huge reptilian skull pulled over the side entrance, the sight of which you have never seen before. It stands half rotted, its red scales drying up in the evening sun, and the crows are pecking at its rotting flesh. They fly away as you get closer, and you walk straight through its open jaws and wonder what it would have been like to feel those massive canine teeth cutting into your flesh, only to wonder if you would have been cindered to a crisp beforehand. As you walk through the agape jaws with a clear hole 3 feet over your head, you notice how there is a crop of white roses blooming at the base of the jaw. You introduce yourselves to the inner guards and are solemnly taken into the main square keep to the large double-sided door with moss-covered hinges. The door frame is decorated with strings of red dragon scales. You bow your head as you enter through the massive door frame and stamp your mud off your boots. You see a large room with a massive table set at the end with a large dwarf wearing his ceremonial battle armor, his war hammer on the table, sitting at the center on a large throne chair, surrounded by his lords and brothers in similar war attire. 2 smaller long tables stand to either side of the room. Large single glass windows allow the last of the evening light in. A massive fireplace stands on one side, warming the chamber, whilst many peasants bring trays laden with food and take away empty ones. The floor is sprawled with wood shavings to pick up the spilt mead and occasional vomit, allowing the merry dwarves to continue drinking and eating. The shouting and singing stops as you enter. Several of the lords stare at you uncomfortably, especially at Bracklaw and Ishka, and after a few moments of uncertain silence, a high elf comes closer to you. He wears a leather shirt, a tight trousers with clean-looking leather boots. He has a lute in one hand and bows with the other. Good evening, travelers. My name is Elaine Featherwell. I am the royal bard in the royal court. His Royal Highness King Thane McDraken. I come from the Fallen Forest. Perhaps you have heard my best-known song, The Barbarian of Seville. In any event, I am willing to offer my help to discriminating adventurers such as yourselves and introduce you to the king himself. Prepare your business and introduce yourselves to him. With this, he beckons you to come towards the high table. And with a solemn voice, he asks the silence of his lords. Lords, please be silent. We have visitors coming from far away. Please introduce yourselves. Sir, who are you?
Hello there. My name is Benson Tooley. If you haven't heard of me yet, you will soon. We come to seek an audience with the king.
Thank you, Tooley. How about anybody else? Can we get introductions from all of your party members, please?
I am Black Lord, and I find your decor to be especially garish.
I am Ishka, and I travel and seek, and I think we shall seek and find some trouble around the area that your king has mostly cleaned up. We will help.
And the draconic-looking flying creature?
What is it to you?
Okay.
Yes, Bracklaw is very much a part of our group and is never overlooked. I am Sasha. I'm a fighter in the service of our group, and We follow Benson. We will see what Benson takes us forward to. Isn't that right, Tajo?
Yes, it is. And I am Tajo. I follow the light, and I would question anyone who would feast so openly amongst the corpse of their enemy. Have you secured the territory completely before you have indulged yourselves?
So the king says, can you not see us feasting and celebrating? This is our moment of grandeur. We have managed to kill Maralex, and our last, this kin is ours. We have cleaned out his lair. As you can see, our vaults are stocked with gold and are being carried away so that I can prepare my surroundings for as best as I can. So what brings thee to here, to me, and what is it you look or search for?
Well, first of all, it would be our great pleasure to investigate and see and truly admire the great hoard of this dragon. And if we can do anything to earn some of the spoils, perhaps give them to their rightful ancestry, that would be quite good on your behalf.
So the spoils belong to the Vector, so I am not prepared to share any of them. About visiting the keep, well, you will have to wait. All my guards are obviously very, very busy at this stage protecting the keep for unwanted visitors, which you are welcome to be here. You will have to wait maybe a day or two or maybe 3 for us to be able to clean up and finish our preparations of this event and clean up. And then we will start the slow process of rebuilding and taking over our keep appropriately. Is there anything else you would like to bring to my attention?
With respect to your displays of hard-won battle, and in reverence to all of your glory that you have attained, there are some interesting objects that are not shiny and of metal. I speak of carvings that may be found within. Might we be allowed to investigate those, perhaps, if not to bask in all of your magnanimous glory?
Yes, many are those that have come up and asked me for the same suggestion. And as I said, I will open up that space for discussion once my guards are kind of, not so overburdened with protecting what is important at this stage. So if you do not mind, you will have to wait for, as I said, 2 or 3 days till everything's cleared. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah. Elaine, would you like to say something else?
Do you hold, one of the things you hold now is a very tall stone keep. Would you like an additional set of eyes that might see different things to stand with your guards on top of it?
Maybe. What would you suggest?
You see before you a group of people that are quite different in history and composition. We might see things that your guards do not.
What would you like to do? What would you suggest?
Camp and watch from the top of your new tower.
Yes, if you wish, you have free movement. Obviously, you cannot enter the lower chambers of the keep for obvious reasons, but yes, you are free to wander around the keep if necessary and keep sight. And the more the merrier. Obviously, I'm worried some of the draconic creatures might come back and try and steal what is legally mine. So, the more the better. You're welcome. Okay, if there's no further comments, I would like Elaine to take you down to the lower table so we can indulge and continue with our celebrations. With this, Elaine comes up to you and says, gentle would you like, gentle people, would you like to come with me, please? I will take you to the lower table, if that is okay. And he leads you towards a corner right at the end of the table where there is another strange looking character. As you start stepping towards it, you notice a bit of a shake, and there's a small earthquake, and the building kind of shudders a little bit, and it kind of dies down, and nobody at the table kind of worries about it. And Elaine just says, "Oh, this is natural occurrence. Please take no notice. It comes and goes when it wishes. Nothing major. It's all nice and slow." And he brings you.
That is a good story to tell, Elaine.
It is. I am still writing the deeds of my lord, but I will introduce you, if you allow me, to Alandrin Galanodel. So you see a wild elf. She is sitting at the table. She's wearing some loose cotton clothes that do not fit her well. You can see she has an odd-shaped chest, too large for her torso. You faintly see a large-shaped scale, like the ones by the door as you came in. Her skin has burn marks all over it, and her body and face have black ritual tattoos. This person is a wild elf. Allow me to sing you a small chant that the wild elves sing out for their remembrance. Hear now the tale all the winds know. We hear it well, the suffering that the others bring us, the gift of the world and our curse. Trust not in others. Nature is our only savior, and she has prepared salvation. Beyond the north, beyond the west, beyond the east, in the southernmost south, hear now the tale. The vale where no others can enter, the vale where none can scorn us, the vale where none can enslave us, the vale where none can lie to us. The valley of perfect silences, nature's gift to those who are worthy. Green, brass, blue skies, wide waters and truth. It is ours when we can find it, to hold as long as we're worthy. This is a Cargonesti chant, and this, allow me, is Alandrin Galanodel. She is a vassal of the Lord, the Dragon Lord. If you're not aware of what a vassal is, she has been transformed by the evil dragon into somebody who has to work for him and is their eyes and ears. Obviously now the dragon is dead. We welcome her back, and hopefully she should be able to release herself of this curse. So please allow yourself to sit down. So he leaves you in the presence of Alandrin Galanodel, and she looks up at you. She's tired and talks with a rasped voice. Her breath takes effort. You are late. Hopefully not too late. My time is nearly over. I need to ask you one last thing. Please sit down. I heard what you were saying to High Table. I can get you in. I can get you into the keep, but I need one thing only. There is a small replica dragon skull given to me on the day I was born on a golden chain. But the lords have not found everything. This memento is behind the secret door. Are you in or are you not in?
Oh, we're always in.
Okay. So Alandrin gives you a black stone a cold stone of a long clawed finger. Go to the main lair. You will find where it has to go. Do you have any questions so far?
Why can't it be the skull of a bugbear or something like this? Why is it always dragons with you people?
I was transformed over 400 years ago, and yeah, my life has been harsh. I want to be released, and this memento is the only thing that holds me to this place. I need to be released. I'd like to go in, and yeah, you might find the odd things. I have never been allowed into that chamber. I was always asked to sit outside. I do remember somebody saying, "Do not look into the mirror."
The steward said something about the earth shaking and not to worry about it. Has it always shook, or has it only started shaking after the dragon was killed?
Yes, this is normal with red dragons. They create a space becomes unsettled, and especially after the death, you might see sulfur coming up. You might see shapes. Also, the veil between the fire elemental plane and the material plane and the 9 house in this area is thin. It's created by the dragon's magic. It will die down with time. It is lasting a little bit longer than I would have thought. But again, this is the first time of this. I've seen this. I've only heard about it in my dwellings with Matrix.
Let me understand, Galanadrill. Is this token that you have given us a form of key, or is this token that you have given us the key to your vassalhood?
So this will open a secret passage that nobody has found, because I have the key. I cannot go in, obviously. I am bound by magic. I cannot go into that area, so I request you to come. I was expecting you to come earlier, and my time is coming to an end.
How exactly will we get into this treasury? The Thane has made it quite clear we are not welcome in the lower half of the keep.
Well, the entrance, a mile away, only holds a small retinue, maybe 2 or 3 of his guards. All his guards are here. So now is the perfect time for you to go in and explore for yourselves. Just don't get caught.
If we go in and we slay one of the Thane's guards, we run the risk of much more serious consequences than just the Thane's wrath. We might be executed as thieves of his hoard, which is a sin of great magnitude. I would suggest we figure out how to disable these guards rather than to defeat them.
I would suggest that, no blood should be shed. You are to go in and come out unnoticed. That is my suggestion. Yeah, the Lord has been good with me. He has spared my life, which I am grateful. But again, I will die probably in the next few hours or day, maybe maximum. So I need urgency in this matter. And again, if I reach out to the Lord, he does not understand. He will just take everything and keep it for himself. And this is not what I aim for.
Any ideas on how we get past the guards, Binsen or Sasha? Ishka, thoughts? Bracklaw, do you have magic which might disable them?
I could burn as many things as I can.
Bracklaw, your size is unusual. Perhaps
Your size is unusual.
Perhaps you could sneak past when we were distracting for that reason alone.
Though of course, Bracklaw, you are small. Climb through that small window. Fly over this wall. What about what I want?
What you want is to move forward with our task and our adventure.
I would very much like to get inside that keep.
I can't for a moment see Bracklaw settling down to rest at the foot of the table.
Really, Sasha? How height is W?
It It was your social stature that I comment on, Vrocklor.
Yes, you should be at the head of the table, very at the least.
Indeed.
Benson, do you have any thoughts on how we might disable these guards without actually causing them to notice who we are or to earn the Thane's wrath?
I was merely going to suggest that I could go with Bracklor inside while everyone else causes the distraction to make sure that we accomplish our task.
I could perhaps make sounds in a different direction, using the tricks you've seen me play before.
Very well. If that is our plan, then Galon Drell, would you perhaps lead us in the direction? We should probably tell that irksome bard that we are leaving the dinner table early and not enjoying the glut of food that the Thane has offered us.
So just as you suggest this, there's a sudden incoming, incoming, and suddenly through the crystal windows, you saw figures coming through, breaking through the glass, and there's a melee of creatures fighting and entering the vault or the room. You see there's a big melee. You see the Lord, his Royal Highness stand up, pick up his hammer, and all his entourage start surrounding him. And yeah, the creatures are draconic looking. They are molten scales in various shades of bronze and dark green. Their eyes are blood red, and they have slightly stooped shoulders. Leather collars and breastplates studded with iron, with layered metal leggings. Being only between 5 and 6 feet tall, they're able to work disguise in order to surprise the enemy. So they're coming in and surprising you all. Now, roll for initiative.
Bracklor as leader.
Bracklor thinks he's the leader, but Benson is the real leader.
The real leader.
Yes.
Vincent knows the bank account number.
Yeah.
Just do the taxes. I rolled a 9 for initiative.
9. Okay. So the Bars Draconics are initiative 13. They will go first. They mainly all attack the main high table, but you see 2 Draconics start to kind of float because they're using their wings towards you. And they're closing up fast towards you. That is their action. What do you do? Starting time it now.
I'm throwing a dagger at one of them as they fly up.
They're both wearing a shield and a sword. They both have red capes. One is wearing a helmet. The other one is not. Who are you attacking?
The one without a helmet. I'm gonna aim for the noggin.
Everybody else?
By any chance, sorry.
No, go for it.
By any chance, are they coming in a direction that would lead to the door we need to go out to get further into this keep?
So right now, the doors are wide open because the guard's coming in. There's big mayhem right now.
Okay, we need to go to like a completely separate building to get where we want to go.
Yeah, you have to leave the keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was indulging a little fantasy of letting them go by and us running after them.
Okay, 30 seconds on your actions.
Bracklor is just going to fly straight upwards and then bellow in Draconic. What business do you have here?
Okay.
I will cast a javelin at one of the creatures coming towards me.
Helmet on, helmet in.
Helmet on.
10 seconds.
I want to advance myself between Vincent and the creatures so that there's a little bit of plate mail.
Nice. I find my crossbow at the helmeted one.
Okay.
And I am set defensively.
There's your a minute and a half. Okay, roll your 2 hits, please.
Okay. That's actually starts off well, a critical.
Good start.
How do you want us to give you the information?
Okay, so can you please tell me who you're attacking? What's your to hit? What's the actual score you got, and the damage that you've rolled?
I do 7 points of damage to the one with the helmet, with the critical roll.
With critical, okay.
I have a 16 to hit for 6 damage to the non-helmeted one.
Okay.
I
Go for it.
have a 22 to hit with 9 damage from the crossbow to the helmeted one.
Okay. Are you okay? And is that it?
I put myself between Vincent and the one he was throwing his dagger at. Does that make me
Okay.
close enough to attack it in melee?
Yep, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, in that case, I hit it, I'm sure, because I rolled an 18, and did 6 points of damage. Is this the
Sweet.
unhelmeted one?
Your call, yeah. Yeah. So
Vincent?
you're
Oh yeah,
And-
yeah, that was the one that I was throwing the dagger at. Yep.
We're on the same plan.
Whilst this is going on, Bracklaw is bravely flying above everything, shouting at these dragonkin, saying, "What is your business here?"
okay. So you hear them speaking, obviously in Draconic, and they're all saying, "Death, death, death, death! Kill them all!" That's all they're saying right now. Your hits kind of stagger one of the unhelmeted Draconic, and he stumbles a little bit, but he kind of picks up and he walks towards you, keeps on running, flying towards you, while the helmeted Draconic is coming closer towards you. There's still one is quite wounded, with his splashing blood on his cape, but both of them are coming closer towards you. Okay, next round. Roll initiative again.
Ooh, that's not good. Wait, no, that's another 9. Never mind. We're good. It's not
Okay, so-
worse.
Okay, you
Yeah,
go
it's
first
not
this
worse.
time. So your timer starts now.
Drawing my rapier, I will advance on the one I hit earlier and make another attack.
As the helmeted one is close, I shall swing my battle axe at him.
Okay.
Vincent, since I'm adjacent to it, that should give you some advantage.
Oh yeah, sneak attack.
I'm trying to use my fighter tactics to help you.
I appreciate that. Let's see.
I will shoot the non-helmeted one with my crossbow.
Okay. Do you reload and shoot in the same turn?
Yes, it's a light crossbow.
Okay.
I will cast Firebolt at the helmet.
Okay. Now roll to hit and damage, please.
That will hit. 23. Damage is poor at 3.
Okay. Everybody else?
I have a 21 to hit and 10 damage.
Okay, that hits.
I
Which one
have.
were you? Sorry. Just remind me who you're hitting.
I'm casting Firebolt at the helmet.
Okay.
I rolled basically the same as last time. Another 16 to hit and 6 damage to the second one.
6 damage, did you say, yeah? To the
Yep.
helmeted?
This is-
Non-helmeted.
Sorry. Okay. Yep.
And on that same target, I rolled 23 and did 8 points of damage. I'm on a good run of rolls. They aren't going to last.
Okay. So what were you attacking with, Brenda? Sorry.
Vincent and I are attacking the same one, the unhelmeted one.
Okay.
And I rolled 23 and did 8 points of damage. 6 last round, so that's 14 from me.
With what weapon?
Oh, sorry, greatsword.
Okay.
I'm
So
sorry, I'm a
you-
paladin-ish.
So you impale the neck of the draconic, and as soon as your killing blow kind of shivers his main artery, he turns immediately to stone, and your weapon is stuck directly on the creature, and he starts tumbling forward, and you better let go because you're going down with him. There's still one helmeted draconic, bass draconic creature. He attacks Sasha with an actual 20.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
Come at me.
And he does 8 points of damage. With his sword. Okay. Next round. Initiative.
Oh, that one is much worse. That's a 5.
Oh no.
Okay. So this time, they didn't do much better, but he's ready for you, Sasha, and he's going to go again and try and swipe you with a 17.
I'm 18. AC 18.
Oh, he just narrowly misses you. You feel as he
Take it on
hits you with
armor.
his sword, your hand. Actually, yeah, you're using a broadsword, are you? You've just lost it.
I just lost it.
Okay, so you're trying to parry a miss, and your armor kind of takes the brunt of the force. Your arm goes a little bit numb, but yeah, nothing serious at this stage. Meanwhile, the back of the table, you see the actual lords are kind of starting to dwindle, and you see the lord start shouting, "Oh, they only want my gold! Get rid of them!" And they're kind of beating them all up. It's your turn.
I toss Sasha a club.
Okay. So Sasha, you want to try and catch that? Sorry.
No, actually.
All right. I'm gonna just start the timer, guys. So you hear the club clank onto the floor as Sasha kind of takes no notice and prepares herself for an attack.
I will finish off our foe with another stab.
And I will swing a battle axe.
And I will cast healing upon Sasha.
I'll throw another
Okay.
fireball.
Oh, another fireball. There we go. Okay. So roll your damages.
Does a 13 hit?
Nope.
15 to hit and a 9 damage.
Okay, 15 hits.
16,
I-
21. 21 hit?
Yep. 21 does hit.
Okay, dirty 20, and that'll
Oh, nice.
be
Okay.
13. I lost it on my sheet. Sorry. 14 damage.
Okay. So with what were you attacking with?
Oh, rapier. Yeah.
With a rapier. Okay. So
Going
you
for the
you,
abs.
you pierce his heart, and you see the Draconic look at him, looks at you, and then he suddenly turns to stone, and your rapier gets stuck directly into his body.
Secundi vitae restorum. You get back 9 hit points, Sasha.
So
Thank
you feel the life from the cleric coming into your body and revitalizing you. Okay, so you can see the lords and the lords and the king are kind of they're subduing the whole attack, and everything kind of dies down kind of simultaneously. If you want to try and do something, now is the time. If you want any attention, your
I want
call.
to pull my weapon out using force or crushing this beast. I want to know what Galanadrill has done during this.
So she has backed into a corner during this event.
Okay.
And yeah, she says, I think they were coming for me. But yeah, the Lord, it's the Lord, his Royal Highness, he's kind of convinced that it's the gold they're coming from.
I turn
If
to
we
you,
free our
Benson.
weapons, we may lose our opportunity to do anything else.
I turn to you, Benson, and say, "Hey, we could say we'll track them down outside."
It's a great idea. I love that plan. Convince them that we're on their side until we get further information.
Till we get to the door we need to go through.
Sir, yes, sir.
Tell them.
Okay, I'm going to go up to the king and be like, do you want us to track down these ruffians and finish them for you?
Well, I mean, that could be an interesting proposition. But, yeah, where are they coming from? Are they coming from the keep? Maybe. But I see your weapons have been taken by these creatures. So before I let you embark on your adventure to find out exactly where these creatures are coming from, maybe I can offer something from the loot that has been taken from our creatures. So I can replenish the what was it again?
Great sword and a rapier.
Okay, the rapier. So he returns quickly. The guards come quickly with a new rapier, and you see a broadsword given to Sasha. And this sword is it's a shiny sword, very sharp edged. And yeah, he says, "Thank you for helping me. This is a sword with magical powers with it. It's a +1 sword."
Is mine as cool?
No, it's just a normal rapier, unluckily, at this stage.
Am I
I see
holding
who
a
your
broadsword
favorite is.
or a great sword? I'm sorry, Trax.
Sorry?
Oh, that's cool.
Is it a broadsword or a great sword?
Sorry, a great sword. What you missed? Sorry, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so again, be gone then and find the source of this evil. And you go with my blessings. So, Alandrian says, "Oh, that was a great turn of events. Okay, so you have to go out through the back and you will find a path. It's only a mile long, and you will find the entrance there to the lair."
Is there anything we should be prepared to encounter in this lair that you have directed us to? Something the Thane may not have tripped or discovered?
No.
Yes.
These are the beings from, these are the gods from the Lord Dragon, but I don't know where they're coming from. But I would take the advantage anyway, and use it now whilst you can. I don't think there should be anything or anyone inside. But again, I cannot confirm because I have not been there. I find it strange. I thought they all died in the attack, the initial attack.
Something is compelling these creatures forward. I felt it myself. We should be careful.
Yes, but I think I will stay here. As you can see, the lords are well equipped, and maybe this is the best place for me to wait.
They're coming for you, yes.
I think so, yes. I don't know why, but maybe it's got to do with my heritage as a vessel of the dragon.
Of the dragon now.
Dragon Lord, yes. Maltrix, his name is. So with that, you gather your things, unless there is something specific you want to try and do, and we will, move
Brocklore.
on.
Quick question to ask Brocklore.
Yeah.
The nature of these creatures we're fighting and how they solidified to stone around our weapons, do you know from your draconic heritage and wisdom and trainings if that will happen every time or if there's a way to avoid this?
All I know is that they are not themselves. It's most troubling.
So Brocklore, do you want to take, would you like to roll an Arcana and see to answer?
That is an 18.
Okay. Yeah, these are called Baz Draconics, and they are originally from a transformation ritual done on good dragons' eggs, and they have been transformed to like short troop warriors. And yeah, this is a normal occurrence with this kind. Now, depending on the dragon's color, the draconic that comes out of it from this ritual is different.
They are not true dragons. They are merely imitations. Best swat them like the flies they are, really.
Very well. Ishka, the club may be coming very much in handy for one of us so that we do not lose a more precious weapon.
Aye, and I also retrieve my javelin.
Okay. So yeah, you gear up and you step towards the mountain, and short trip, mild. The wind blows. It's going dark. There's no sun, so I'm assuming you will be walking with some kind of light. You light up some torches, I'm suggesting.
I can cast light.
Okay.
Do you want to stay near me, perhaps, Brocklore? That is always welcome, that light.
Think of me as a little firefly, Sasha. Oh, so it's only funny when you two do it.
We will find a
No,
cure
it was
for
funny.
your size one day, my friend. Does anyone think it strange that the Thane somehow defeated a magnificent dragon of such size and power, and yet was challenged by these minions that attacked us earlier?
Did the things that they were fighting, did they turn to stone as well?
Yes, all of them.
If their weapons get embedded by stone, it is not too surprising that the battle becomes more difficult. But still.
So you
Yes.
saw that
Fire is much more impressive than stone. A dragon of that size could cook armies.
Yeah, and also the weapons that the lords have used in the battle did not get stuck in the stone as the draconics became stone. They might be imbued with some kind of magic.
Perhaps I am seeing shadows where none exist. Let
No,
us get into
Tajo.
this vault.
You are not seeing shadows. I know in my heart there is some darkness here, and I know that the Thane sends us with his blessings, but having just had the benefit of your blessings, Tajo, I am glad that I am walking beside a cleric of light and life.
Life is definitely our guide, and it does not seem as if it is here. Why would this vassal assume the Draken troopers are here to retrieve them? They are a vassal of the great dragon. If the dragon is dead, why do the soldiers care about vassals? Surely they are unimportant. Unless there is something more here than meets the eye.
The seed of some greater evil, perhaps.
Another dragon rumbling the ground.
I am not
So,
versed in
Sasha
dragon
and Tajo, can you please get one inspiration point for that? And Vincent, I'm going to give you an inspiration point also.
Yay!
Yeah. And from your previous experience with the rapier. So you walk towards the entrance. Obviously, there's two guards sitting huddled behind some stone protection from the harsh wind. It's getting cold quickly. The entrance obviously has seen better days. The large double-hinged studded wooden door is broken off its hinges and is stuck against the wall, with a dark entrance into the mountain. The guards obviously see you coming and halt you, and obviously you confer that you have the Lord's blessing, and they promptly allow you to go in. You enter the actual lair, or it's a cavern. It's old dwarven cavern, and it delves deeper and deeper into the mountain. You go into a massive chamber where apparent signs. So the roof is so high up you can hardly see it. There is no. You can see signs of combat where some of the pillars have melted by some heat source, massive heat source, and the floor is cluttered with craters of some massive war or battle has happened in this chamber. Just bear with me.
Rackler flies over to one of these singed columns and just admires the craftwork. This is breath technique from monetary.
A massive dragon statue stands triumphantly with a body of a clearly human stone finger under its left claw. But you see, it only has 4 claws. One is missing.
And what we were handed was a claw. Vincent, I believe you have it.
Yes, I do. I'm going to see if I can put it back where it belongs.
Vincent, before you do that, might I suggest caution? There is something wrong here. The damage here, Bracklord, this is caused by the great dragon, these scorch marks, this burnt column.
It is very impressive indeed, Nigel.
And the tremors, that wild elf with the black tattoos, she claimed that the tremors were lasting longer than usual, as if the beast had not yet left.
That a portal to another realm was still open. A realm with sulfur, which, of course, I like.
Tajo, I believe you worry too much. We should press further in.
Perhaps you are right.
It is always good to have a plan or a way out. If this is one of those doors that appears mysteriously, let's make sure to wedge it open, at least.
And also, I think, Ishka, you should go first. If it leads back to your homeland, I would very much like to be forewarned before I step into hell.
Indeed.
Yes, I like the warm spots. And also, I believe that this is a place where we may need to be able to see more clearly, so if you can bring up your light, in addition, that might be good. Okay, I am stepped up and ready to go forward.
Okay. Before we continue on, I'm going to go back and just take a quick inventory of all the items in the room and write down all the most valuable things before we carry on, saying something along the lines of like, just in case we come back. You know, you always want to know what you left behind. Can I make an investigation check for that or something?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that you're waiting. You haven't opened the door yet, but yeah, absolutely. Once we get there, yeah, you're more than welcome. Yeah, Bracklow, I would like to just recognize your interpretation and give you an inspiration point. So, do you venture forth and put the finger back to its claw?
Onwards. Yes, I put it up and stick it in.
So, obviously, this is magically imbued, and as soon as you do that, a door right to the right-hand side of the statue starts sliding slowly open, and there is a dark room behind it. You venture forth.
I step neatly to the left, allowing room for Ishka to go first.
Yes. I step forward and in. Breathing in deeply, hoping for the scent of the sulfur that was mentioned.
What is the order of the party as you go in?
Ishka's in front.
Okay. I'm just going to change this. Ishka's in front.
Tajo goes second.
Taja goes second.
Bracklow will
maybe-
continue to cast light and just hover above everyone's heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go
So
next.
So Vincent and Sasha at the end then?
Indeed.
Okay. How many torches of light do you hold?
I have a torch open, lit.
With one hand? Okay.
Essentially, Navi from Ocarina of Time right now.
I think I had better light a torch from Tajo and take a clue.
I shall do likewise.
Although the previous chamber had been spot clean, there wasn't even a dust of gold on the floor, nothing. The first thing you notice is a red golden coin just lying underneath that sliding door. You enter a study with a sturdy wooden table with all kinds of sharp knives and scalpels that have been ceremoniously laid out. A 5-foot mirror stands on the wall. You're not looking at it directly. You are seeing it from the side. It's decorated with red and silver entwined dragons fighting each other.
If I have any sort of a cape, the first thing I'm going to do is flip a cape up over that mirror.
Okay. Once you get closer to it, you can see that if you see it indirectly, its surface shows faint images of dark shadows and creatures moving around it. Do you proceed and put the cape over?
Is the nature of these little images that I'm seeing in it as if I'm looking through to another place?
So it looks like they're like on the surface. You wouldn't be able to say how deep it is. It just seems normally you would see like a reflection, and you just see like dark figures moving around. Yeah.
My inclination is to protect everybody by putting the cape over the mirror. I think this is what Sasha does, yes.
Okay. The walls are filled with draconic symbols. It seems, you see rogue figures, you see dragon eggs, something coming out of an egg. Maybe an investigation roll by someone more knowledgeable could give you a bit more information.
Tajo is definitely going to be looking at these carvings to try and see what's going on. At the same time, we were told not to look into the mirror by Galandriel. Is that correct? Does my memory serve me?
That is what she said. As I say that as I walk over towards the door to pick up that coin that was in the doorway.
As you do this,
Look at it.
The door starts closing.
As I pick up the coin?
Yep.
When
Quick, put it down.
When I set it back down, does it stop?
Nope. The door keeps closing.
wedge something in that door.
And then
Real
The
quick,
club.
did I do the? So I meant to look around the room for all the items, like I said. Did I get around to that yet, or am I still?
yeah,
doing
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that you've already started looking on the table. What are those? So yeah, your attention is elsewhere at this moment.
Gotcha.
And with a thud, the door is closed.
My club did not stop it then.
No, it got crushed. Sorry, I didn't hear that. But yeah, it got crushed by the stone door, the rolling stone door. Okay. So
Well, I hope this is a key. I hope this coin is a key to let us out as well as to close the door.
There's 2 exits to this room. Do you want to investigate further? I believe Tajo wanted to investigate.
Correct. And Tajo got a 19 for investigate.
Okay, this seems to you like some kind of an evil ritual. It's carried out by an evil wizard, looking like from the figures in the robes. And yeah, it looks like it's doing something over the eggs. And there would maybe be referenced as dragon eggs. Yeah, this seems to you a little bit of a dark ritual that's happening. Yeah.
Does it show what happens at the end of the ritual?
So at the end of the ritual, something comes out of the egg transformed. But yeah, kind of, it's not very clear because it seems like the runes that are written there in Draconic kind of talk about good and evil, bad and good, and like an evil wizard and a good egg is being transformed.
I do not speak this language. Does anyone else speak Draconic?
Let me take a look at that.
I do not, but I had a dream about something that needed to be released and liberated from chains. This is an egg, not chains, but
Light. I dreamt of light trapped down in the darkness that needed to be released.
yes. And that we needed to have light to be night, that we need there is a darkness that needs light and a light that needs to be released.
Why, the darkness needs light.
To fight it.
Curious that this figure of Galadriel has dark tattoos upon her person and wishes us to retrieve a trinket from this place. But perhaps...
So while you ponder, there is 2 exits to this room. One is a staircase that goes down, and the smell of sulfur from that is quite strong. Whilst the other is a horizontal passage that goes into darkness.
We should go down. That is what my dream told me. Besides, I like sulfur.
I wish my dreams gave me the answers to all of life's questions.
It is not normal for me.
I agree, Vincent. I was raised with paladins. They saved me. But I do not so easily trust my dreams. I know that Tajo walks hand in hand with divine power that channels through him. We have all benefited from this. But I had this dream, but I do not quite fully place myself in this. But it was down, I agree.
I too had a troubling dream where I felt a presence.
Pasho, did you have a dream? Am I the only one that didn't have an epic dream?
I do what I am instructed to do when I sleep, and that is to sleep.
Glad to know I'm not the only one left out.
It would
Right,
appear we did not dream. Did all 3 of you have the curried chicken last night at that dwarvish tavern?
It's been a rough road.
And the excellent ham, yes.
We have to take what pleasures we can on the way.
The ale was lackluster.
I was thinking more along the lines of food poisoning inducing hallucinations while streaming, but sure, let's move on to your going down into the darkness. Let us see.
So you descend down the worn staircase into a set of catacombs. Now, this structure is different to the others that you've seen. This has been carved by different hands. This was not done by dwarves. Who did this? It's unsure. The air is dry and smells of sulfur. You find yourself in front of a large iron-bound door. And Ishka, you get an inspiration point for following your nose with the sulfur.
Does Bracklor's fire-breathing ability have any element of sulfur in it?
Are you asking if I have bad breath, Sasha?
Wonderful breath.
I am.
Wonderful
I've
breath.
never been so insulted since about an hour ago.
You just heard Ishka. Delightful breath.
Thankfully, I can fly above it.
This is a very old chamber that we are in. Are we in hell, Ishka?
Does it look like the carvings of the places where I used to walk and wander and drink and party?
As far as you know, this is still the material plane. You haven't gone through any kind of portal. So, and the markings, they're not exactly what you would expect in a more hellish environment.
No, this does not look like home.
So as you ponder in front of the door, you realize there is light coming from underneath, some kind of red light, and you hear a chanting behind the door, some guttural chanting. Bracklor, you could maybe decipher a few words from it, but it's certainly something ancient, some ancient languages you kind of know, but it's not the right intonation or words. It's certainly something powerful, though.
And Bracklor just presses an ear to the door and runs a finger over it softly, and then casts comprehend languages.
So you hear the chanting, and it's starting to get higher and higher pitched.
There's some form of chanting. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can't make out.
I hear the noise. I hear the sound. Are they summoning more of the attackers?
It's certainly Bracklor, from what you've learned from wizardry, you have this kind of intonation is some powerful spell that's being summoned at this stage. And it looks quite advanced too. Now, these spells take a few days to be able to be fulfilled, but the intonation kind of points that it's reaching its end.
Well, Ishka, we are far down below ground, and the chanting indicates they are not simply levitating the cat. We should be cautious.
Perhaps, Binson, now is an opportunity for you to exercise your talent at not being seen.
I think that is an excellent idea. I'm going to sneak my way in to get a closer look.
Okay. So you open the door, I'm assuming?
As quietly as possible.
Okay.
When he goes in front, it always worries me.
Okay, what is everybody else doing while Vincent is starting to open the door?
I stopped casting light.
I try and hold the torch in such a way, or take a few steps back to reduce its glow.
I am stepped off just to one side of Benson, ready to swing my battle axe if something is right there, ready to attack him.
I move about one step only because Benson has had words with me in the past about all my beautiful shiny armor and what happens and how it really messes up his show. So I just move like one step really carefully to the left and hold very, very still with my light out of the way.
Okay, so Vincent, roll a stealth check and slowly open the door.
Let's see. That's not good. An 8.
Okay,
I'm gonna spend
So-
my Can I spend my inspiration for advantage, right?
absolutely.
All right, let's do that. Ooh, that is so much better. 19.
Okay, so as you slowly open the door, it does a bit of a creak, but then suddenly the old oil grease allows it to open silently. You go in and you see a room filled with sulfurous smoke. There's a large chamber, and at the end of the chamber, you see a golden-looking draconic. This one is much taller. He hasn't got any wings, and he is wearing a kind of pendant similar to what Alandrin was explaining. He has a big ritualistic dagger just over a red egg. Behind it, there's a totem of bone with dragons and humans and other creatures and even a femur. And there's a small, so in this chamber, you see two guards on either side of him just looking around, and there is a chasm between where you are and the other side with a vine bridge over the lava river underneath.
And he's like holding the egg and knife like this, right?
So
Like he's gonna.
it's not the egg, it's the egg. It's a dragon egg. So
Okay.
it's huge egg. Okay, and he's on top and he's doing this incantation. Now,
Okay.
what you do notice is that he looks very shriveled up, like his life force is being drained by this spell that he's calling out for.
I'm going to, if the rest of the party hasn't seen this yet, relay that information.
Okay, so he whispers back. Obviously, the enchantment is starting to raise up its voice. So the draconic, the golden draconic, whilst the two other guards start to kneel towards it.
We need
Towards
to
the
stop
egg.
him before he ascends like Yardif Bey did.
Rax,
Oh no!
did you see anybody actually in chains? Like in my dream? Something in chains that needed to be set free?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Okay. Okay.
There is
Well-
something we must set free, Sasha.
Isn't Galandriel?
Galandriel is what needs to be freed. We need to stop this.
I have a
Very
feeling
well.
that red eggs are good and should not be stabbed.
I shall take out the priest. I toss the torch aside and pull my crossbow up. Someone else take out the guards?
And I charge.
Okay.
I'm going to follow Bracklor's lead in this. He has some ancestry here, and kind of wherever he points, that's where I'm heading.
Okay, so you have a surprise attack this round. Obviously, there is at least, say, 40 feet between the door and the actual where the incantation is happening, and you will have to cover if you run over the if you run over the drawbridge, the vine bridge, you will have to do a dexterity check. If you walk, it's okay, but running on such an unstable is challenging.
I shall move forward 30 feet and cast a javelin and then cross the bridge next time.
Okay. So your timer starts now.
I'm going to fly into the room and cast a firebolt down at one of the guards.
Okay. One's wearing a green cape and the other one's wearing a red cape. One on the left is green caped and the one on the right is red cape.
So it's like bad priest, egg, 2 guards bracketing him.
Yep.
I'm going for the green cape.
I fire my crossbow bolt at the red egg.
At the red egg?
Mm-hmm.
The egg.
Okay.
I'm going to cast a dagger at the one Ishka's throwing the javelin at.
Okay. So is that the red cape one, I believe?
I think so.
And I was going to follow your lead, Breckler. What are you doing? And I'm doing the...
I've just flown inside the room and launched a firebolt at the green cape.
Green cape.
Okay, so we have... can we just do a quick summary of that? Can you remind me who you've attacked and roll to hit? Just bear with me a second. With Tajo, you have advantage to hit because it's a stationary object. Go ahead and do your shooting.
19 to hit and 8 damage.
Okay. So the actual arrow goes straight through into the egg, and it kind of stops. Something's in the egg, and it stops, sticks out from the egg, from the eggshell, and the the shell starts to open up. Ishka.
Ishka, I was shooting my javelin at the green cape person. I rolled an 18, so that may hit.
Yes.
Damage of only 3.
Okay.
I was a 14 to hit that same one, and I rolled 7 damage.
Okay.
I run into the foot of the bridge. I launch my javelin at that same guard, and I'm 100% sure I missed.
Okay. Is that with a 1 by any chance?
No, it was an 8, but...
Okay.
Breckler corkscrews into the room, flies up, and then with a 23 to hit, launches a Hadouken of 8 damage at the green cape guard.
Okay, and you hit. So, yeah, the guards are taken aback, obviously, with your attacks. The green draconic, the golden draconic looks up, and he's like, really telling both his guys to like move forward, and he's like trying to speed up his chanting, and he's keeping his posture up. Roll for initiative.
Man, this dice does not like me. That's another 7.
That's because you should purchase Easy Roller Dice. Easy Roller Dice coming to you from easyroller.com.
Yeah. Loaded dice with a natural continuous 20. No, so they go first. Now, they jump. The 2 guards jump, and they fly over the chasm and attack. So Ishka, you were further forward, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I put myself right at the base of the bridge, but Ishka was there as well.
Okay. So one of them attacks you. The green one attacks you, and the red-caped one attacks Ishka. And you see two smaller fire elementals start to creep up from above the fire pit from the floor.
We have company.
Okay, so Sasha, 8 misses, I'm assuming,
Yes.
and 10 Sishka misses also.
Are these the creatures that, when we strike them, we lose our weapons?
Yes.
Just checking.
Yeah, and you feel the two of the elementals coming forward and attacking you. Yeah. Okay. 5 and 9. So they miss, but just by being from the heat they're generating, you take 1 point of damage unless you have fire resistance.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Ishka. So one attacks Sasha and the other one attacks Ishka because you're both on both sides of the bridge.
How wide is the chasm?
15 feet. So your turn. Your timer starts now.
And how far is the golden draconic egg thing beyond that? So 15 feet and...
So say another. So you've come in more or less 10 feet. 15 of the chasm, another 15 to where the golden draconic is. Yeah, shouting his incantation.
Okay. I am raging, and then I am crossing the chasm, and person that was attacking me has an opportunity attack, I suppose, and I'm going to go and attack the egg shell.
So you run over the bridge. So you have to do a dexterity check, Ishka. The most attacks they missed. One is an actual critical fumble, and from the fire demon, and he kind of plops back into the lava.
And how difficult is this dexterity check?
Sorry, it's a 13 check.
I'm hopefully grabbing the vine rope as I'm falling through it.
What did you roll?
A 6.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of trip in, and your foot gets stuck into the hole through into the lava. You don't actually fall. Just do a strength test to hold on. Otherwise, you fall in.
This is the important roll.
Yeah, it's one that I have advantage on. Luckily, strength check. That's a 15.
Oh, you rolled a 15. Okay, yeah. So you're hanging on to dear life, and you feel the heat from the from underneath. It's not you have a little bit of resistance, but it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Next, everybody else, what are you doing?
Can I just check? Is there anything flammable around the egg site?
Not really.
Are bones flammable?
Bones flammable? Maybe if you want to try and shoot it at the golden draconic, who's wearing ritualistic clothes.
Yeah, Bracknell's going to fly over to the golden draconic and use his breath.
Vincent, can you hold these creatures at bay?
Yes, I can give it a shot. I'm gonna try and do the help action to give Sasha a better hit, and say push him in the lava or something. As I kind of like hold him still.
Okay, so you wanna try and push the draconics back into the lava?
Yes, except for I have a strength of -1, so I'd like someone else to try. But if no one else can, I'll do it.
So what you're trying to do is set me up.
Yeah.
Got it.
Communication.
Gotta take advantage of that then. Great sword whips out, and I'm going to try to attack one of those guys and kind of intimidate and push him back into there. Since Benson has so kindly been trying to help me get my timing right.
So you do an intimidation check. Obviously, I'm assuming you're trying to move your sword. It is kind of really shiny and sharp sword, and you want to try and frighten them back.
Yeah. I'm willing to attack. I just don't know how it would play out if he's trying to help me. I don't know how that would play out.
Okay, so he's going to help you out by giving you advantage on your roll.
Okay, and then just an attack.
To hit,
full forward. Yeah.
So you're putting all your weight behind that attack.
First roll was a 10, tracks, since you might be interested in this. Second roll is a 10. So those are 15s.
So the draconics are not very
it's 15
impressed.
total.
Oh, 15 total. Okay, sorry. So you managed to hit with a 15. You have +1 damage.
I forgot to give you your 10-minute warning.
How much time have we got?
You have 10 minutes. I'll add on a minute and a half. I forgot to tell you about 10 minutes.
12 damage.
12 damage? Okay. So with that sword, you cut directly into the draconic chest, and you cut him in half, and he falls down dead. These burst draconics are kind of drained out of their energy.
And there goes my sword.
No, he turns into stone, but your sword comes free.
Hey, that's good.
So whatever is Bracklaw, you were throwing a spell, I believe.
Yeah, Bracklaw goes over to the priest, and right before he opens his maw to shoot white hot flame all over the priest, he goes, "Your abomination." And
Okay, throw to hit.
It's a spell save DC 10, I believe. And I do 10 damage.
Okay. So your spell, can you describe your spell? Because it goes straight into the Golden Draconic, and he starts to it's a critical hit. You kill him with one shot, Tom.
This Bracklaw's maw opens, and this plume of a cone of white hot liquid fire envelops the poor priest, and you will just watch as he melts, and his flesh falls to the ground before your eyes, a really sickening plop plop sound. And Bracklaw stands above him, looking very pleased for himself.
So as he burns, you see that the pendant, the golden chain with a small dragon head doesn't melt, and it stays on a puddle. And you also see how the egg starts to open up, and you look inside, and there's a small red draconic creature with a wound in its leg from an arrow. So next round, what are you doing?
I'm getting away from.
Oh, sorry, go.
I am pulling myself up and onto the bridge, and the egg is opening already, so I don't need to break it. I pivot and look for the fire elementals.
Okay, do an athletics test.
Okay.
Get yourself up.
Athletics. I think I will take some inspiration on that athletics check because it's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening. I'm that was a 7 total.
Okay. So you kind of fall into the lava, and yeah, you hear a shout and a scream as Ishka falls into the lava, and you hear a scream from her. Any last words, Ishka?
The fire burns more than it should.
Okay. How much time have we got?
6 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to try the chamber as the golden draconic was killed starts to collapse, and we're going to go and try in 5 minutes an actual just bear with me skill test to get out of this space. Before we do that, what are you doing with the creature inside of the dragon's egg?
Is it bigger than me?
It's, I mean, same size. I said you're 12-inch, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, more or less the same size. I mean, yeah, you could maybe carry it, because what's your strength? Your strength 12. I mean, you could potentially carry it, but you would be like dragging yourself and this kind of creature. It'd be very hard for you to move fast, but yeah.
Good, the Dragonborn never leaves the Dragon King behind.
I will carry that for you. Don't stress yourself. What has happened to Ishka?
So
You heard it. You heard a scream.
yeah, Ishka is kind of melting right now on the lava.
Am I still facing a guard?
There is still one left, yeah.
Then
but
I
everybody-
can't. I don't feel like I can run forward to do anything.
So but you can't. I mean, he's kind of really wary. He's surprised because you have an opportunity to attack if you want, because he's like kind of seeing his the golden draconic kind of drop, and he's just in total shock of what the kind of things that have changed. You are going to I'm going to explain how this skill challenge works. I want you to get 5 successes. So you are needing to get out of this space as quickly as possible back to the surface. So I want you to try and use your skills creatively. You need to tell me which skill you want to use and what you are using it for, and you will roll. On a success of 13, you get 1 success. If you get 18, you get 2 successes. You can't repeat the same skill twice. And yeah, just give me a description of how that you have to be proficient in it, kind of how that skill helps you to move forward in getting out of this chamber and out of the building, out of the mountain. Is that clear?
I think so. A 13 is a success?
13 is a success.
All right. In that case, Tajo is going to throw a prayer over Ishka, hoping that her soul has found guidance to its resting place in hell, which for her is paradise. So perhaps her journey home has not been unpleasant, and that she might spare a thought for us who still toil on this mortal plane. I'll grab that little dragon creature that Bracklaw seems so obsessed with, and then I'm hoping, using perception, going to try and bound across that bridge as fast as possible without falling off it.
Okay, give it a shot.
So that is 16 as rolled, so that's 1 success.
1 success. Okay, so the buildings, the whole rocks are starting to fall, and you're getting the sulfur just seeping out of the rock, and the level of the lava is starting to rise up. So you're all running out of the room. Anybody picked up the pendant, or is it going to stay there?
I wasn't on that side of the bridge.
Given the Dragon King has gone and Bracklaw picks up the pendant.
Okay.
Then just hops up and flies as fast as he can.
Okay.
So that'll be Dex, and that's dirty 20.
So what I meant with skills is that what skills, not the actual dexterity check. Just like, do you have how could you use Arcana or your insight in delving or solving the situation you're in to move forward. So
flying as fast as dragonbornly possible.
Okay. The space is moving, is collapsing. Everybody's coming out, and you reach a junction. Who wants to do a roll on that junction?
I could try, like investigation or sorry, perception or something like that to remember the way we came the first time.
So you're trying to remind. So you try and remember what you were doing. Please roll.
Okay, that is 13.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
that's
you
a
see your
success.
footsteps. You remember your muddy boots as you came through, and you can see your footsteps coming in and going towards the right. So you move forward, and you reach the base of a staircase.
I want to use all my physical training I've gone through and the fact that I'm wearing this heavy armor. I want to use my athletics in effect. I want to be trying to help shove people past me, protect them from things falling over them, make sure that there's a little bit of space for Bracklor to fly through above. I'm trying to use my physical training to help push, shove, clear.
So do a athletics check, because as soon as you see a rock start to fall towards Vincent, and you try to block that, and so please.
I absolutely put myself in the way of it, try to deflect it. 16
Still alive.
plus 5.
three successes. So you go ahead.
You say that was 16 plus 5?
Oh, you see 16 by 5.
So that's
Sorry.
21, so it's 2 successes.
so
We're
that's
on
2
4
successes.
successes. Yeah.
4 successes in total. Okay. Anybody else wants to give it? So you keep on running. Can you give a suggestion of how you would use your spell or your skill? Sorry.
Me.
Yeah. Anybody can come up with a suggestion. You can't use the same skill twice.
Can I try and take a visual snapshot of the carvings in the last chamber so that I can try and remember what was going on with a history check? Would you use that for memory? Try to memorize the walls?
You could do a history check, and there was kind of a description of the size of the staircase, and you might want to roll with that in mind, about how leading up to a larger width staircase can help you go up quicker. So roll a history check.
7.
Okay, so that's
That's
one.
a failure.
That's a failure. So a set of rocks falls on top of you and does you 3 points of damage.
That's embarrassing. I was trying to prevent that.
One cannot deflect all
try
pain.
and Brenda. Do you want to try and do a perception test to take that damage?
Sure. 20.
Okay. So you not only take the damage, but you take half damage. So you take 1 damage. You manage to put your shield over Bracklor. Sorry, no.
Tadjo.
Tadjo. Yeah.
Blessings upon you.
Favor returned, my friend.
Okay. Who wants to try again?
Could I use insight and try and predict what Ishka would have done in this situation to get us out?
Yeah. So Ishka. Yeah. What have you said? What have you? So roll, and then Ishka can answer the question
So
as a memory of who she was.
Just scraped a 13.
Nice. It's 5 successes.
So the question is, does Benson ever pilfer from other people in the party out of humor?
Typically, no. I have a respect for you guys, but if
Nice.
it's too funny, I can't help myself.
Roll on self-control.
19.
You thought taking that coin away from me that closed the door was really funny.
Oh yeah.
Since I locked
I'm
this in.
looking at it as I'm running like, good thing I stole this. Sorry, Ishka.
You reach a landing at the top where a perfect spherical space is waiting for a rounded object.
Can I make acrobatics to like toss it from halfway across the room expertly into the slot?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Ooh, that hit my other dice. I'm gonna re-roll that. Okay. Dirty 20.
30-20. Wow. So yeah, you see as Vincent throws the dice, the coin, it flips in the air and it crashes spot on to the location on the wall, and the coin kind of gets absorbed into the stone wall, and suddenly it splits in half and opens up, and you start to see the moonlight shining through as you leg it and leave the dungeon.
There we
Get
go.
out!
There you go. Inspiration for you.
We are over time.
And this is it. Yeah, this is the end.
We got out. Thank you. Okay, folks. GM, thank you very much for running us through that. It was an interesting twist and turny kind of series of events there. We are going to now vote in terms of how we thought that Andres did. And we're going to put those scores up for you just after this. So whilst we are voting, you get to watch a video on just what it is that we will be looking for from today's game. So here you are. And remember, if you have questions, we will have a little bit less time than normal, but we will have some time to answer any questions you might have about tonight's game. So yes, have a look at this. In the rules category of the scoring card of Training Grounds, we come across the Used Appropriately section. What does this mean? Well, once you have applied a rule, or once you are using a rule, has it been applied appropriately? In some games, you might have the rule of cool, which means the rules are applied when they're needed, but if the character is doing something cool, well, then maybe they don't need to be applied for this particular session. You want your character to somersault through the air, land on the back of the giant four-headed mammoth, and slay the dragon with a bow and arrow that they have just fired using their feet. The rules might say that that's not possible, or that it will take you a good 10 to 15 rounds to set up all of that combination. Rule of cool might be, well, no, it doesn't actually need to happen. Let's just make it more dramatic because the creature's on one hit point anyway, and whatever the damage is done, the thing will die. So the rules don't apply here, but, well, that might be an appropriate rules call. It very well may be, or maybe not. The exact swing of that is my character takes a step forward. Great, I want you to make an acrobatics check because the ground is slightly uneven. I succeed. Excellent. I take another step forward. Make another acrobatics check because the ground is still uneven. And you're moving again. It is the rule as applied, if necessary, but is it appropriate? Is that something that is just going to slow the game right the way down, or is it something that's going to enhance the game and make it more entertaining, whilst at the same time still being consistent and applied to all? It's a complicated tightrope that the GM walks, but if you can apply your rules appropriately with finesse, and your players trust you, it can make the game flow like a raging river of excitement and enjoyment, as opposed to being one muddy slog after another. The next thing to look at is frequency of use. Frequently confused with the applicability of the rule, is the rule used appropriately, is frequency of use. If you use the same rule over and over and over again, and it results in the same outcome, should it really be used? If a character is walking down the street, how many perception checks should they make to notice something's odd? Should it be every 10 feet? Should it be every 10 minutes? That's entirely up to you. At the same time, and from the reverse, if your characters never get to make any rolls because you're not using any of the mechanics or you forget, the infrequency of use is equally damning. You need to make sure that your players get to use the dice that they have spent so much money on, or virtually clicked on so many times. You also need to make sure that they're not using them every single moment to do every single thing. There's a balance that needs to be struck, but as with all things that the GM is responsible for, well, that's just part of life. Make a check. We all use NPCs in our game, but are they being used correctly? That's the next section in the NPCs category of the Training Grounds scorecard. Using NPCs correctly is not about abusing the NPCs. They're most likely going to die in some horrific way anyway. I mean, that's really why we have NPCs. Yes? No, absolutely not. NPCs fulfill a multitude of functions, which I've spoken about on our YouTube channel, such as the mentor NPC, or the cheerleader NPC, or the guide NPC, or the love interest NPC. NPCs have a myriad of uses within our game to help us with all kinds of things such as pacing, plotting, twists, all kinds of things are entangled into how we use our NPCs. Is the GM in tonight's game, or in your game, are you, as the GM I should say, are you using your NPCs correctly, or are you letting them go to waste? Not everyone can have an amazing repertoire of vocal gymnastics. So when we talk about the impersonation section of the NPC scorecard, we're not looking to see whether you can do a lot of amazing different accents and shift them up at the drop of a hat so that you are changing all over the place. We don't really care what you do with your voice or your mouth, whether of course you can sound deep and subtle or high and mighty. We really don't care. What we are more interested in is when you are presenting us with an NPC who has a certain mannerism, whether it's bent over, crooked and old, or young and sprightly and all over the place. Whatever it might be, however you do your impersonation, it could be by describing them. They're young and plucky and their eyes sparkle with youthful enthusiasm. Or if you try and actually perform the role, that doesn't matter. Are your impersonations, however, suitably different enough from each of the other NPCs that we're likely to meet in your world that we can start to identify the NPCs based on those impersonations, or the descriptions, or the characterizations that you've built into your NPC, or not? It's no good having some kind of weird accent that nobody knows who belongs to who, but that's very clearly that accent belongs to Keith. I thought Walter sounded like that. Well, he does too, because I can only do one other accent. That's not a great place to start. You want your NPCs to be unique, so they should be in every category that we look at in the GM scorecard. And we're back with the scores. Before we get to reveal those scores, Andres, what would you do differently?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, the combat didn't work out as I thought it would. It was a little bit challenging. Lots of things happening simultaneously. So yeah, I practiced that a lot more and feel a bit more confident with it. Yeah, the system wasn't very. It's something I was trying out. I think it has something interesting in it. But yeah, I think maybe having a bit more practice and having the players practice before also. So yeah, I wanted them to take the damage and count things. So I am really bad with counting things and having to manage descriptions. And I'm very bad with remembering the player and the PC name. So I was finding it a bit confusing there with that. Yeah, for me, that was the biggest challenge.
I think, well, firstly, next time around, we'll just change everyone's names. That's a very good point. I actually think I forgot to do that. Normally it would be done. So I completely agree with you. Their name's a complete enigma to me as well. I think with your system, the only thing that I would change is that I would just insist that the players give you their information in a specific order every single time. I think from my side, I certainly was going, should I tell my numbers now or should I wait? There wasn't a clear order on who should speak next. Benson obviously was rolling the initiative, so it made sense for Benson to read out or say what Benson was going to do. But then afterwards, after that, it was like, well, who speaks now? So personally, if you want to continue that system, I would just say, okay, you first, then you, then you, then you, and use Zoom screen. Just work the way around the screen. Just give them an order before, and I think that'll neaten it up a lot. Okay, the scores. The scores are, and I hope these will be the right overlay. No, now I'm nervous. Let me just check here quickly, because I think I forgot to turn them on. No, I didn't. Ha! Oh, there we go. All right, there are your scores. So, in the rules application, we've got some pretty decent scores there. Your low score being consistent application of the dice rolls. I do feel sometimes that when we gave you dice rolls, they weren't what you were looking for, or you weren't sure how to use them to give us an appropriate response back. So there was some I think confusion as to what the scores were or what numbers you were looking for. That could possibly be where the consistent application section looks at. From a story, definitely engaging. Look at that, 21 out of 25. Everyone went, well, the story was really engaging. We really wanted to know more. There was lots of kind of, is this or is this that? So well done on that side. With regards to the tone, yes, the tone, I think, for me, it was, you had described the scenes really well. But the characterizations, the way that everyone was sort of treating the situation, perhaps that they didn't bring the same seriousness to it. The Thanes seemed to be very personable to everybody. So something to possibly look at there. But otherwise, 19 for immersion, 19 for logical narrative. So good scores there. NPCs definitely consistently scored across the board in terms of descriptions, personalities. I thought that you did a really good job in terms of giving us the descriptions of those NPCs. I did feel that something that you could look at for next session is, did we need so many NPCs? I know it sounds crazy, but the bard, unless I missed it, that elvish bard, that whole song, I didn't see that fitted in with anything within the major plot. Now, that could have been something that was going to fit in, but at the same time, you could have saved yourself a lot of time by simply having it as the steward of the dwarvish thane instructs you to sit at there. So I think that's something that you can think about in terms of, there is a good space for descriptions and you've got good scores there, but do we need all of those different NPCs at the same time? Style, we knew that this was going to be well scored here. Your descriptions, your way of describing the rooms and the architecture and that sort of thing, I thought that was really strong. Everybody else did as well. You really engaged us. The senses were definitely there. Table management, yes, I think this is where everyone was floundering, kind of going, I don't know whose turn it is. The idea of rolling to hit and damage at the same time is a great idea. I do feel, though, that I certainly was skipped out for one turn, not because we sort of ran out of time, but it was just everyone else was going, and then the session sort of rolled forward. So again, I think just coming back to it, going, right, you roll one initiative, but this is the order that you go in, and then work through that order as the GM, just consciously go through that order. It will then certainly free up the players to then know, aha, I have to speak after Sasha, but before Bracklaw. I can now speak. I've got my actions ready. Because I think we all jumped onto this idea of doing our actions within 90 seconds or whatever the time frame was, because everyone was sort of popping and going on it. But I think the problem is that then sometimes some people's actions happened just because they spoke first.
Mm.
And people who spoke second after that were like, well, I could have done something, maybe, I don't know, but I was... So just something to think about there. In terms of controlled environment, that's possibly where that score came down. And time management, I think, again, just that idea of we had so much information up at the front, so much description. It was great, but perhaps it was too much for the time frame that we were playing in. Again, something to think about. Sensitivity, good score there. You gave us notes up front. You sent us a little private message saying, this is how I run my game. This is what I'm looking for. So that was really nice and cool. And then the private messages each gave us that wonderful role-playing moment of, oh, I had a dream. I had a dream. We all have dreams, apparently, except for Benson and Tadja. We don't get dreams. But yeah, so there we go. What do you think of your scores?
Just to quickly answer, so everybody had something specific to their background. That's what I was trying to do. So Vincent was a special agent. And Sasha, I initially thought she was a paladin, and then I had to quickly change it to a fighter. So I had to change it to something. I changed it to a dream. So yeah, maybe I ran out of ideas initially. With the scores, with the time management, I think I've tried to pack in too much in 90 minutes, and I wanted to try and take you as quickly as possible and give you a big description, put you right into the action as quickly as possible. And yeah, you did. So I was really impressed because, I mean, the event with the guards was slightly different to what I initially intended, which was great because I kind of shortened that, and not looking into the mirror also made it a lot shorter. If you looked into the mirror, it would have taken a lot longer. So I think I've packed too many things in 90 minutes. But yeah, I don't know if we overran, probably we did, but it's great that I managed to finish, at least give it like a closure of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have come to the end of today's show. We really have gone through that time quite quickly. Just very, very quickly, players, did you have fun?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. In that case, then, you are a great GM. Andres, we will see you next week when you return. What scores are you going to look to try and improve upon next week?
So I'm waiting to see what the actual explanation is, but I will try and run a different kind of adventure, hopefully. And yeah, make it a little bit more onus on the players and enjoying that time management. And if we could get the names of the players under the names of who it is, for me, it helps a lot because I was having a very hard time trying to figure who was who and having a bit of an order to the sequence of actions.
There we go. There we go. All right, to my wonderful players, thank you so much for stepping in and playing, and I would play with any of you again. We didn't have enough time to really develop characterizations, but I think we were kind of getting there. That's always the joy for me of being a player. And thank you for coming and playing. To the GM, thank you so much for GMing, and I look forward to seeing what you give us next week. As for all of you watching, a massive thank you to all of you, and to Laura Bones and Lauren Gray, who are our moderators in chat, for keeping things going. A big thank you to all of you, and we will see you again next week for the very last in this series of the training grounds, and make sure to be there, as it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, from me to all of you, happy gaming!
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, players.